So, I guess the first impression I had with these things was kind of surprised that this large diaphragm mic had this amount of like articulation and detail, particularly on the front end. I didn't expect it to have that much attack. I mean, I guess my impression of, you know, classic Neumann sound is like U87, famous for what it hides, almost like sluggish on the uptake. And this was very, very different, like clear, neutral, and sort of fast on the uptake.
It didn't do it in a almost like a forced way, if that makes sense. So like for me, what I heard was, yeah, it was detailed, but it wasn't just like brash or in my face or in a way that was, I mean, everybody uses the term musical. I mean, of course it's musical, it's a good mic, but it recorded things in a way that was pleasing. It was the way I'd want to hear them. Really open, but it was still honest and just not harsh at all, which is wonderful from the TLM series.
One of the things that I noticed like right off the bat was that with a lot of like large diaphragms, you really sort of kind of have to find a place for them to live in a mix, and just right off the bat it sounded like mix ready. Definitely. Ready to go.
Well, and also what we mentioned too, or we're talking about when we were recording these, is that it takes to whatever preamp you're running it through very, very well, since they're very clean, the transformerless design obviously. So it just means you get so much flexibility out of these if you've got an already fantastic preamp arsenal. You know, to more saturated vintage, even super clean for those incredibly detailed, pristine recordings. It sounded like it would play very well with any type of preamp design.
We had great sounds. I mean, on just about everything we put them up. Well, we had great sounds on everything we put them up on immediately. It wasn't like a struggle with the placement. And I don't think we could have gotten lucky that many times, but I don't know if the off-axis response is just that neutral or what exactly is making those microphones so easy to position. But I mean, I've been wrestling with that Steinway B for years, and still it's rare for me to take a brand new pair of microphones I'm unfamiliar with, put them up in the first position and get a great sound. I mean, we didn't even move them at that point. We just went with the first positioning that we put them up with. I think I love what you said about them, that it's this nice blend between large and small diaphragm microphone, that you get the attack and the sort of the initial speed of a small diaphragm, but with sort of like the back end musicality of a large diaphragm. I really experienced that on the piano. I felt like the soft hammers really were captured, and sort of that immediacy of the hammer attack was there. Even though it was a soft hammer, it sort of captured the attack. But the back end wasn't so overdone with overtones that it was like difficult to manage. Sure. And a lot of times that's the problem of small diaphragms on acoustic instruments. They can sound thin, but this one had the attack of a small diaphragm in a way, with that musicality, that warmth, that smoothness of a large diaphragm. I mean, it was a breath of fresh air. It's a great mic.
First things Travis and I did with them was threw them through a tube preamp and try for a variety of different flavors. We tried full-blown input gain, medium input gain, and pulling it back on the input, and it definitely came through on all three settings that we tried for that.
Yeah.
And the resonator, it took just as easy to the resonator as it did to anything else that we tried it on. We tried it on, bright guitars, pick near the bridge, fingerstyle guitar, the resonator, just regular strummed guitar, and it performed equally well on all those different kinds.
Doing well on a resonator almost says the most.
Yeah. Those can be a little wonky. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the large diaphragm, small diaphragm comparison video that we did, and when I was hearing this, it did really sound like you combined the recordings of those small and large diaphragm mics into one. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, best of both worlds as opposed to like a compromise. Because usually when you select one or the other, you feel like you're compromised, and then you're fighting with the preamp selection to try and, you know, solve the compromise that you made. I mean, they really tend to be a blend of the two in a way that on all the musical sources we put them on, combining the best of small and large diaphragm characteristics, you know, without compromise was really, really something.